Well, okay, it's good morning. So I am on my own. Remember we were talking about working through it when the flu and cold gets you? Well, it's got Sarah. So she's laid up. Nevertheless, she's still working. She's just not with me. So anyway, today there's not anyone else with me to ramble on, so we'll probably do a short video. Sun's shining, which is always a bonus. And I think I mentioned before, I blog once a week for LinkedIn. So every week, it's different topics really, different things I've learned really, I suppose, along my journey and what I've helped other people with as well. And I suppose what I want to really talk about today is that desperation, what's attached to sales. You know, people just assume that if you start pressurizing people, if you start chasing people and really kind of putting pressure on them, they feel like it's desperation, and they feel like this desperation makes them look really desperate. It makes them look like they're begging for the work and all that kind of stuff. And many meetings I have with people, I'll say, like, how many times have you followed up? And they're like, well, I followed them yesterday, and then I followed them a couple of days before that, and I'll probably chase them again in another week's time. No, you know, get on their case. And that's the thing. And I'll say to them, why? Well, I don't want to seem like I'm desperate. No, but you need to be desperate. And that's the thing, is people have this, I suppose people just hate the word sales. You know, people's just like, I'm not that sales type kind of person. You need to be that sales type kind of person. You can check out the blog that I posted, the article for LinkedIn. I talk about this, and I talk about 5 steps in how you can master sales. And listen, there's loads of other things that you can do, but there's just these simple 5 steps will really start to help you understand sales a little bit better. So when it comes back to being persistent, just do it. You know, 2% of sales occur on that very first visit, and then it goes up to something like 3% on the second, 5% on the third, 10% on the fourth, or something like this. So while ever you're not chasing them, you're leaving business on the table. And if you're like one of them people, what you might chase them 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 times and stop, you are leaving 80% of business is getting left on the table for somebody else who's a bit more persistent. And when it comes to that desperation, it's not desperation, it's passion. So it shows that you're passionate about the product, the service, whatever it is you're providing people with, what you're selling to these people. It's just showing that you've got like masses amount of a passion for it. It's not desperation at all. That's a little kind of excuse that you've created for yourself. You've come up with this idea that if you chase people, it makes you feel desperate. Probably because you might be desperate. You know, we've all got to make money. You know, we've all got to do what we've got to do. And it is easy to trick yourself into that kind of situation where you're saying to yourself, well, if I don't get this sale, I'm going to be in bother, then I need that next sale. And it comes into a bit of a fast cycling downfall. And this is where you need to really kind of just shake yourself, really. Do you know, get hold of yourself, give yourself a good shake, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that you are phenomenal, you are awesome. I'm not desperate, I just believe that what I'm selling you is good for you. Do you know, this is really good for you. So I'm going to chase you for it, I'm going to push you, I'm going to put pressure on you, I'm going to come back to you every other day, every day until you decide that you're going to do it. And that's the difference between people out there pulling massive amounts of business and the ones that are just mediocre. Do you know, the ones that's just doing okay. And the interesting thing is, if you replace your worst people with the ones that's doing okay, you'll be flying in business. So it's just a big cycle, it's a big vicious cycle. So the first thing you need to do, this is my final thought, you know, we've rattled this off in 5 minutes. So the final thought really is, stop telling yourself that word. Remove that word desperation, because it's not desperation. It's a made up word that well, it's not a made up word, obviously it's a real word, but it's a word that you've made up for yourself. Do you know, I feel desperate if I'm chasing people all the time. Do you know, That's not true. That's not true at all. You're chasing people because you're passionate. It's not because you're desperate. Because you know that product is going to be good for them. That service, that software, that website, that training, that whatever the business that you're in, you know that it's going to be good for them. And then the other question you've got to ask yourself is, if you're not chasing them, do you believe that it's really good for them? Do you know, is that vehicle right? Do you know, are you sold on your own product? Because if not, then you're going to really struggle. So, do you know, get sold on your product. Make sure that you understand every part of your product. Make sure that you are believing in the product yourself, because once you believe in it, it becomes a lot easier to sell it. And that's when the passion can really shine through. You know, you can really start to chase people, put pressure on people, because you genuinely believe that that product is better for them. You can. So, be persistent. Get out of that mindset of telling yourself it makes you appear to be desperate, because you're not. You're passionate. Replace desperate with passionate. And get out there. Get networking, get picking the phones up, get chasing contacts, get marketing online, get some Facebook adverts, get some Google adverts, get some Twitter adverts, whatever it is, get out there into the market, get out there, cover as much space as possible, and just dominate it. Really get out there, but do not be afraid of following up, because it's not desperation. Cool, guys. That's short, isn't it? Do you know? What do you think, Sarah? I just talk to myself, but you're going to think I'm cuckoo then. Happy days. Well, listen, get out there today. Set yourself a challenge that you're going to follow up on all lapsed contacts. You know, the ones that you have contacted 2, 3 times, maybe 4 times and stopped. Go back, revisit them, and then chase them again. Have a great day. Sun shining. People love it. Makes me in a happy mood. Go and get that business.